Alright, Donald Trump just called for a firing squad to be aimed at former Congresswoman Liz Cheney, and that means you liberals need to tone down the rhetoric. Only I can call my political opponents the enemy from within, who rig every election and may need the National Guard mobilized on them. Only I can demand loyalty and say that anyone who is not loyal is a degenerate, lowlife, scum who needs a firing squad aimed against them, and only I can say large portions of the country are garbage, but when President Biden flips that back, I will freak out. Obviously, I say that in jest because what Donald Trump said on stage with Tucker Carlson last night is more incendiary, apocalyptic, and divisive than likely anything that's ever been said over the past few decades in American politics, but more divisive than anything Donald Trump has said over the past decade, which says a lot. Donald Trump took the stage with Tucker Carlson in Glendale, Arizona, and did an event decently late at night. It was midnight my time, so I passed out before it happened, and I woke up to a firestorm of what Donald Trump said. He called Biden a stupid bastard, then said Liz Cheney needs a rifle pointed at her face. He then said the crowd probably has some murderers and drug dealers in there with us. You know, with only 4 days to go, we have no time to waste. Make sure you subscribe to the channel below. We are rapidly getting towards 1 million, and only with the help of you guys. In this first clip, Trump takes the stage and calls Biden a stupid bastard with Tucker Carlson.
When Biden got up with the red background, the pink background, and he looked like the devil, he looked so stupid, right? And he said, "We will stop MAGA. MAGA, we're going to..." I said, "Listen, you stupid bastard. MAGA means, because I think if you asked him what does it mean, he doesn't know. MAGA means make America great again. That's what MAGA means."
Correction, that's what MAGA stands for. That is not what MAGA means. Donald Trump has said time and time again he wants to make America great again by taking us back to, what, 1798 with the Aliens Act? That is not when America was great. It was anything but. And Trump was referring to this picture of Biden, and it's so laughable. The gaslighting hurts my head at this point because, listen, Donald Trump's claim to fame in American politics was saying Obama wasn't born here, saying he wants to lock Hillary up, getting the RNC in 2016 to chant "lock her up." That is unprecedented. He then took the White House, and was bombastic and divisive throughout the entire time and ended it off with this election fraud lie. And President Biden makes one speech in front of red LED lights, and somehow that is equivalent to fascism. Everything Donald Trump has said about the media needing its broadcast licensing stripped away, the Constitution being overwritten or even terminated, that goes all out the window when Biden stands in front of red lights. This is gaslighting to the highest degree, and the fact that I'm even responding to this is absolutely ludicrous. Especially considering what Donald Trump said about Liz Cheney on this exact same stage. Now, Donald Trump is engaging in something called mirror politics, where you completely mirror reality or completely mirror your enemy. For example, Donald Trump constantly uses this incendiary rhetoric. As I say, I don't even have to go down the list. He'll say it in a clip that I'm about to play. And then he will flip around and say Biden is the one who is an absolute fascist because he stands in front of a red light. It's also called a fire hose of falsehoods. It's when you gaslight time and time again. You repeatedly gaslight until it becomes reality for half the nation. It's kind of out of Mein Kampf. You simplify things down, you convince the population something isn't true, and then boom, you have power over them. That is what Donald Trump seems to be doing with the help of people like Tucker Carlson, which we'll get to Tucker. It's so rich because Tucker hates Trump behind the scenes. Watch this clip. It's not the Liz Cheney one, but this clip gets increasingly unhinged as we go on. Just take a look.
Sir, at the Wharton School of Finance, but we had history classes also. He said the one thing you never want to happen is you never want Russia and China uniting. We united them because of the oil. We united them. Biden united them. It's a shame. The stupidity of what they've done. Well, I'm going to have to ununite them, and I think I can do that too.
It's not that they're united right now. It's that there's a weird dynamic where China is in a power position due to Russia's terrible handling of their war that they unilaterally started, by the way.
To ununite them. But early on, I've read, and you've learned, you never want Russia and China, and they're natural enemies because Russia has massive land and China needs it. Okay, they need that land. China doesn't have the land for the population. Russia has, if you ever look at the size of the Russian landmass, it's like 4 times or 5 times. Doesn't it have like 12 time zones or something? It's massive.
Tucker Carlson is nodding along like, yeah, whatever you say, sir, with tears in his eyes. I'm gonna go ahead and take an educated guess here, just a guess. I followed Vivek Ramaswamy around the campaign trail December and January as a part of a project I was working on. We also went to Nikki Haley events, we went to Trump events. It was a really interesting experience. It helped me form a lot of skills, but my point is, Vivek Ramaswamy would use these exact same talking points verbatim every single speech that he gave. He had a stump speech where he would always say, you never want Russia and China to be together. You always want to tear them apart. He would even use those words, ununify. I have a weird feeling, this is just a sense that I'm getting, that Vivek Ramaswamy is telling Trump this behind the scenes, and Trump is a sucker for anybody who sounds good or who sounds smart, and Vivek Ramaswamy sounds smart, whether we like him or not. Before I played this clip of Donald Trump talking about murderers and drug dealers, can I please just point out that Tucker Carlson effing hates Donald Trump. And I'm not just saying that. We got text messages during the Dominion lawsuit, and this is important because now Tucker Carlson is literally kissing the ring on stage, brown-nosing. But this article from not long ago reads, Tucker Carlson once texted that he hated Trump passionately. Now he's endorsing him for president. Former President Trump has earned an endorsement of Tucker Carlson, also Bill Barr. All of these people have turned on their word. Nikki Haley was one that was very disappointing. I knew she had no spine, but again, during the Iowa caucuses, we went and covered her. I could hear in Nikki Haley's voice, she hates Donald Trump and she is pro-democracy, but she had to endorse him for her career and because she's a spineless politician who just wants to grab power. But we talked to people at these Nikki Haley events. I talked to many women who were 35 to 40 years old. I remember vividly, there was this group of blonde women that I talked to and we recorded it, but they asked me to please never post it anywhere. And they said, if Nikki Haley doesn't win the candidacy or the primary, then they'd never vote for Trump. They would never vote for Trump. I'm just hoping those women like Kamala, and I hope that they're seeing the Liz Cheney town halls and not on some weird Elon Twitter feed. Sorry, back to this article. Quote, I became an active Trump supporter when they raided Mar-a-Lago last summer. That's just something I can't stand, Tucker Carlson said in an interview. Carlson told Barr he always agreed with Trump's policies, even though on a text message of January 4th, Carlson wrote to an unidentified recipient, quote, we are very, very close to being able to ignore Trump most nights. I truly can't wait. Oh, how wrong he was. How poorly that aged. I hate him passionately. I can't handle much more of this, Tucker Carlson said. Man, if Trump wins another term and Tucker Carlson couldn't even handle him for 4 years, the people at Meidas are going to go crazy, including me. Dominion sued Fox News and his parent company, and all of these text messages got released. Tucker Carlson said repeatedly he hated Trump behind the scenes. Now this is him sitting there awkwardly smiling while Trump says we probably have some drug dealers in the audience now.
I mean, millions and millions of people. I'm sure we have some in here tonight with us, murderers and drug dealers, prisoners.
Very, very funny. In this next clip, Donald Trump is talking about Liz Cheney. And I think the broader point to be made here is that this basically supports what General John Kelly said perfectly. John Kelly made the claim that Donald Trump values loyalty above merit, values loyalty so much so that he wants German generals. And when he was asked, do you want Bismarck's generals? He said, no, I want Hitler's generals. So he values loyalty so much that if somebody dissents, if a congressman or a congresswoman decides to dissent and go from a Republican to campaigning with the other side, he may hypothetically, not so hypothetically, call for a firing guard. What I'm trying to say here is that Donald Trump wants loyalty above all else, as everybody has said, as Mike Pence has said, as Mark Milley has said, and as John Kelly has said. And when Liz Cheney wasn't perfectly loyal, Trump said this.
And I don't blame him for sticking with his daughter, but his daughter is a very dumb individual, very dumb. She's a radical war hawk. Let's put her with a rifle standing there with 9 barrels shooting at her, okay? Let's see how she feels about it. When the guns are trained on her face.
When the guns are trained on her face. One more time, let me play the end here.
She's a very dumb individual, very dumb. She's a radical war hawk. Let's put her with a rifle standing there with 9 barrels shooting at her, okay? Let's see how she feels about it. You know, when the guns are trained on her face.
How is this election a coin flip? This better lose him actual votes, and I know people say nothing can lose him votes, but with 4 days to go, this has to lose him some votes. Some replies here read, incitement of violence is a crime, and this felon should be locked up before he gets anybody else hurt. Somebody said, has anybody checked in with his parole officer, because I'm pretty sure this is a violation. Someone said, why is this not grounds for disqualification? It would have been in any other reality. This one is a good one. Quote, Trump taking the moral high ground when it comes to being a war hawk is comically funny when he literally had his generals write up an Iran invasion plan, which Trump then showed off at parties and to people like Kid Rock. It's wild how Donald Trump and MAGA try to take this anti-war stance, but you bring up Iran or any other Middle Eastern country and they immediately turn into Dick Cheney or worse, which is honestly very, very true. MAGA acts like they're this anti-establishment, anti-war wing, but they are anything but. I mean, Donald Trump assassinated Soleimani, and honestly, the more I read about that, it was justified in one way or another, but he did it in such a sloppy, war hawkish manner. Now again, Democrats need to turn down the rhetoric. Here's a quick compilation, a quick supercut of all the rhetoric at Madison Square Garden. This is just a quick one.
What a sick son of a bitch. The whole fucking party, a bunch of degenerates.
I would just like to give the art world a little something. I got it here somewhere. Oh, here it is.
BAM!
In fact, she is the devil, whoever screamed that out.
This guy is like high blood pressure and a human being. Sorry, no offense, but every time I see this clip, I just laugh. She is the devil, just like the worst pastor you know.
She is the Antichrist, the first Samoan, Malaysian, low IQ, former California prosecutor.
Her and her pimp handlers will destroy our country.
With a really, really bad actress.
And these Latinos, they love making babies too. Just know that. They do. They do. There's no...
For some reason, it's instinctual, but people like Tucker Carlson piss me off so much more than most other MAGA pundits or MAGA freaks. You know, like Tony Hinchcliffe, this guy doesn't piss me off that bad. He's just a racist comedian with bad jokes. But Tucker Carlson, where's Tucker Carlson here? Tucker Carlson is actually evil. He's an evil human being, and honestly, it goes back to that article that I was just reading that said Tucker Carlson absolutely hates Donald Trump and said, we are very close to being able to ignore Trump. I hate him passionately. I can't handle much more of this. Tucker Carlson also said repeatedly the election fraud claims were absolute BS, but he continued to peddle them. That's why I hate him, because he's not just dumb. Well, he's not dumb. He's smart and he's evil at the same time. Can I also point out that Donald Trump is talking about pointing rifles at Liz Cheney after going on multiple rants about being the protector of women? Except if you're a woman who disagrees with him. Except if you're a woman in Puerto Rico or a blue state that's affected by a hurricane. Unless you are a woman who wants access to abortion, or unless you are a Republican woman who voted for VP Harris, he'll probably dig up the damn voter rolls. He said, according to the Kamala Harris Rapid Response Team, I told women I will be their protector. They said, sir, please don't say that. It's inappropriate. Well, I'm going to do it whether the women like it or not. And it's just such a symbolic phrase right here, whether the women like it or not. It just reminds me of the video of Trump giving a deposition behind closed doors where he's saying, yeah, in the history of the past million years, women do let you do it. I'm not talking about the Access Hollywood tapes. Trump said this in the Access Hollywood tapes, but he also said it in 2022 in a deposition. Here's another clip of Donald Trump just ranting and raving.
What to do for me, Bobby, is leave what's under my feet, the oil and gas. You leave that to me, Bobby, because we're gonna make so much damn money, and it's clean. It's gonna make it clean. We're gonna make, look, China doesn't have that. That's why China's going electric. If we go electric, we're playing right into their hands. We have oil and gas. They don't. They have things for making the batteries and other things. They're going to make the electric cars. We're not going to be making the electric cars. The problem with the electric cars, and I think they're great in a smaller application, they don't go far, they cost too much, and they're going to be made in China. 3 minor problems, okay? But if you listen to this government, they want to make army tanks electric because they want to invade countries with their army tanks in a very friendly way from the pollution standpoint.
What the hell is this guy even talking about? From the pollution standpoint. Now, I have another clip from this event that I want to play in 1 second of Donald Trump just being an unhinged lunatic. But first, let's check out this poll that just released overnight. This says right here, Rust Belt polls. In Michigan, Harris is 51% to Trump's 48%, meaning she's up 3. Wisconsin, Harris +2 to Trump 48%. In Pennsylvania, Harris +2% to Trump's 48%. I'm getting chills and a sigh of relief because OMG, over the past few nights, I've been staying up late. Like, Trump has a very real chance of taking this. And I don't mean to worry you guys, but we all have to sit here and mentally prepare for the fact that Donald Trump has, let's give him a 35 to 40% chance of winning. That is a very high chance. 35% chance things happen all the time. That's a 1 in 3 chance. That means in 1 in 3 realities that happens. Here's Donald Trump saying what that sleazebag said during the debate.
In rallies like this, when that sleazebag said during the debate, she said, "Oh, your rallies aren't well attended and people leave." They don't leave. And
he is so mad. He is mad like a kid who just got insulted on the playground. When he does that voice, when he pulls out the O voice.
in the debate, she said, "Oh, your rallies aren't well attended and people leave." They don't leave, and they're really well intended. We can't get places big enough. And
is it just me, or is Tucker Carlson oddly quiet throughout this? It's like he can't even believe what he's seeing on stage. Maybe I'm just overanalyzing.
debate, she said, "Oh, your rallies aren't well attended and people leave." They don't leave, and they're really well intended. We can't get places big enough.
Really well intended?
Well intended. We can't get places big enough. And then I said, no, you know, the rallies are the biggest in history. We never haven't, just like this is a part of a rally. We never had an empty seat and nobody leaves early. And you know what? If I saw people leaving, you know what I'd do? "Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to make America great again. Goodbye, everybody." And everybody would be happy. Nobody would leave.
Good one, Trump. Now, before I play this next clip, I want to bring some more good news to you guys. I hope you guys like these good news segments. Trump lagging an early vote with seniors in Pennsylvania, a red flag for GOP. Democrats account for 58% of the votes cast by seniors so far in Pennsylvania. Not only seniors, but women. I'll make a video on that later. This one is about senior citizens. Donald Trump is lagging behind Pennsylvania early voting with a critical and once reliably Republican constituency. Seniors. It's a warning sign for the former president that reflects early vote data and polling across the battleground states. Before I continue, please get out and vote. Let me know in the comment section if you voted, if you've early voted, if you plan to vote, if people in your family plan to vote. You know, I did this yesterday in a video. I got 3,000 comments of people saying they voted and their family members voted. That means that if everyone in that comment section had 1 or 2 family members vote, we could be influencing tens of thousands of votes. Let's be generous and say 15,000 votes we could be swaying, maybe some of them in key swing states. What I'm trying to say is get out and vote. Make sure your family members are ready to vote. Go push them, persuade them. We have 3 or 4 days. Now is the home stretch where they will be bombarded with ads, and it'll be easier to push them and push them. Turn it into some sort of cultural event like the Oppenheimer movie. Say, "Oh, it's so cool. Go vote for VP Harris, the first woman president." In Pennsylvania, where voters over the age of 65 have cast nearly half of the early ballots, registered Democrats account for about 58% of votes cast by seniors compared to 35% for Republicans. That's despite both parties having roughly equal numbers of registered voters age 65 and older. Now, the article does point out the partisan gap is narrower than it was in 2020, when views of early voting were even more partisan, and early voting signs need to be taken with a grain of salt. There is still reality where Trump absolutely just sweeps on election night. We have to acknowledge that. But here's some more good news in PA. Take a look at this clip of Don Lemon talking to Kamala's volunteers about the on-the-ground Trump operation, or lack thereof.
We have some of the best volunteers in Pennsylvania.
But I hear folks saying it's only the Harris folks, the Harris Walls folks out canvassing. They have no sign of Trump, Republican, MAGA.
That's absolutely true. The number 1 door knocker in Pennsylvania is actually here in Lancaster County. He's out 6 days a week. We did over 30,000 doors here in Lancaster County last weekend. In a normal year, the Lancaster County Republicans are usually fairly organized.
And now?
Nothing. Crickets.
Crickets.
They're not out there.
What do you think of that?
I keep thinking, oh, maybe we're just missing them, but there's no way we hit 30,000 doors in a weekend and nobody saw Trump canvassers anywhere. The science says when you go out and you have a conversation with a voter at a door and you ask them to support your candidates and you help them make a plan to vote, we know that they're 20% more likely to show up and vote because of that conversation. Personally, yesterday, somebody contacted me and said, I need a mail-in ballot application for a Puerto Rican voter who was at work and she needed to get it done at the last minute. I drove it out to her personally to get it out there. So that's a kind of energy that we're seeing, people who were either not going to vote or they weren't sure how they were going to vote, and now they're voting for Kamala Harris.
Please, guys, please mobilize. Now, these videos I make are very impactful, but they're only just cute videos if you guys aren't bringing the impact. I've already voted. I've already made sure that my family members have voted. I've made a ton of posts about voting, and I know that we've made an impact, but I just want to make a bigger impact in this final stretch. Please go and vote. This comment reads, Adam, you and your work inspired me to get my lazy self over to the polls and vote as soon as they opened. I was exhausted and ached all over, but I did it. If not for your videos, I would have waited till the last minute, Kamala and blue all the way, and waiting until the last minute, like it or not, only gives credence to Donald Trump's strategy that the Democrats stole it at the very last minute, that the early vote was totally going his way. We have more comments that read, voted yesterday here in my small city in Georgia, blue all the way. Leaving the polling station with 2 other women that were there together, I said to them, we just helped to elect our first Madam President. They both said, amen. Someone else said, hey bro, I've written to you a lot of times. I'm a disabled combat veteran and have never voted in my life. Because of you and your honest content, I will be voting for the first time in my life, and it will be for our future Madam President Harris. Absolutely great stuff. Thank you for helping me build this community. Let's really knock it out of the park over the next 5 days, and then we'll scale it more over the next 4 years so we can have a massive impact next election cycle. Until then, just have a great day. Peace out.